Yeah. Okay, good evening. Thank you for being here and waiting up. Certainly, we always like to say congratulatory message to our players and talk to them. But awesome to have our fans come out the way they did. Autzen was incredible. It always is. And when it does like that, it makes everything really, really special. Our guys came out, played a much more complete game in just about every phase. We had the mishap early on the punt return, and we knew that was coming as well. You know, they like to line drive those punts. It's a rugby-style punter who rolls a little bit. We had prepared for it, but the one corner did not hear the call to get away from the ball, and we ended up, giving up 3 points there. But aside from that, just played pretty much a complete game in all phases, and proud of our guys for their effort, and looking forward to getting better and moving on.
Third row, Tyson, right there on the right.
The 77 on the board obviously stands out, but how impressed were you with the defense, especially earlier there when especially, it just seems like it took Justin a couple drives to get going, and the defense definitely carried there.
They were the determining factor in the swing of momentum because, after holding them to 3 and then us having that muff punt issue or the fumble punt, right, it skips off one of our players. For them to hold them to 3 there when they had first and whatever down inside our tight red zone, it was awesome. And the most impressive part to me was the fact that the older guys held the younger guys accountable. When the younger guys went in there from snap 40, whatever, to the very end, they made it known that they are held to the same expectation about keeping other people out of the end zone. So, again, credit to the entire defensive staff and most importantly the players. They certainly are coming on. It's coming on strong.
Front right, Ryan.
Mario, there's a list of guys maybe you didn't expect to be catching touchdowns a couple weeks ago
Right.
that are
Grab the mic,
helping
Ryan.
you out. Tight end.
Let me guess, number 82. Yeah.
Davis. What's that been like to adjust on the fly with the receiver injuries and having tight ends and Brady, et cetera?
Well, a couple things. Number one, credit to Brady because Brady is a really good player, and we have to play him, so we use him as a tight end. We use him as a tackle. He swore he was going to catch the ball if we threw it to him. I didn't believe him, so now I'm wrong, and he's right. In terms of David's transition back to wide receiver he's just been very unselfish, total team player, went out there, did it, and it's in practice he has shown that he is ready to play Major League Football for us, and he showed it in his couple of opportunities tonight. Proud of him, and proud of the tight ends. They became such a big part of the passing game tonight, really opened up things for us, and we have got to continue using because they could stretch the field, they could do the intermediate stuff as well, and they blocked extremely well tonight as well.
Front left, Matt.
Last 2 games, your defense has just played tremendous football. Did you have a feeling, even though when the second string guys came in, they would push off and you'd have this much depth? It seemed like it didn't matter who came off the field. You guys were just making plays, no matter what substitutions you were making.
Yeah, guys made a lot of plays. Guys that really, we're going to, of course, watch the film, but guys that jumped out that you don't usually mention, guys like DJ Johnson, right, was all over the field, made a lot of plays tonight. Sampson, Brady Breeze, you got the usual guys making plays. Jordan played so hard, played so well inside there. Autzen got a little bit nicked up, but he's okay. We don't see anything there to be concerned about. But Troy played, did his usual stuff. And, Javon and company, all those guys, Yamador, Thomas, just a lot of guys played hard, made a lot of plays.
On the left, Rob.
You talked a lot this week about finishing and, playing a full game. You feel like guys got the message and kind of kept their foot on the gas all 60?
We did. We just felt that we haven't played our best yet from start to finish. And I think a lot of guys were saying, you know what, when you think about it, you only get 60 minutes a week. That's your reward. So we're going to take full advantage of it. The guys did tonight.
Back left, Hayden.
Coach, Justin had 5 touchdowns, but you got Tyler Shook in there in some valuable minutes. Just how important is it to get him some playing time while you can?
It is. It's extremely important. He deserves to play. He's a really good football player. He's proved it in spring. He proved it during fall camp. And we wanted him in there during, meaningful time. And I know some people think, well, the score is kind of a little bit out of range, but it's not. They're still playing with their ones, and we want to make sure he got reps with our ones. He did a great job tonight.
Back right.
Coach, Nevada was coming in pretty strong to this game, upsetting Purdue last weekend. Were you expecting to kind of dominate all aspects of the game against a really tough opponent in the Wolfpack?
We just expected a really good football team, and they are a really good football team. We just expected to come out and play our best as well. It's something that we felt tonight. It's more of the Oregon football that we've been trying to establish, and the most important thing is that we weren't, besides that one punt return issue that we had, you didn't see many self-inflicted issues. Had one late hit out of bounds, right, trying to be aggressive a little bit, and those are, being a disciplined football player and playing with a relentless effort as a competitor, that's what we're trying to get to, and we moved closer to that tonight.
In the middle, Jason.
Coach, unless I'm mistaken, 11 touchdowns by 11 different guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. I'm not sure I've seen that. Is that part of, obviously the game dictated that, getting a lot of bodies in there. Is that what you like to see, though? Because the more guys play, the more you can kind of look and see, hey, we can use these guys in future games.
A lot of guys have stepped up during this little injury spell that we've had. And, it kind of puts you to the test, right? Guys got to step up and prove themselves. And guys have. Systematically, it ended up that way, but systematically also allows you to, if something is covered, if something is taken away, to give you an opportunity to get the ball out to someone who has a chance to make a play. So it worked. It worked to a T tonight, and certainly proud of the execution.
Front left, James.
Mario, a couple of things on the tight ends. One, Breland has a career night. How important is it that he's able to capitalize on these opportunities with Cam out? And secondly, as a former O-lineman yourself, were you inspired at all by like a Jumbo Elliott package with Brady, or because other linemen have done this, but it does go back to that.
Very
kind of
jealous of him is what I am. Really, it's what I wanted my entire life. Never had a chance to have. Brady's a really good blocker, and when Cam went down, and remember, we had a couple guys dinged up during camp. Jake Breland was dinged up as well. We just saw Brady go in there and do some blocking at the tight end spot, and he was outstanding. And then all of a sudden he started running routes, and it's like, well, it doesn't look like, an NFL tight end, but it looks good enough. And I think it's something that we need to continue to use because he's effective. And Jake Breland, I can't say enough about him. Ryan Bay, even Hunter Campmoyer. I mean, these guys, they've been putting in time, and it showed up tonight in execution.
Right middle, Tyson.
I think while you guys had your ones in, I think you guys held them. It was like 1 for 11 on Nevada facing third downs, and especially on some of those third and longer ones, you guys were bringing all sorts of pressure with different looks. What did you just kind of see from your team on those third down plays and just how you guys approach those?
Well, they're a 6-man protection operation, kind of old school jet protection, sliding the center of the field and keeping the man side on the backside. And we just felt we had a couple things in terms of their alignments that we could attack the tailback and flood him with 3 or 4 to a side. Again, Coach Avalos and the rest of the defensive staff just did a really good job dissecting those so that when we were in third down, we could get more of the matchups that we want and get speed on the field with some of their substitutions. And they were playing slow, and so they were trying to take the air out of the ball. You saw way deep into the first half, I think it ends up being 5, 6 possessions. I'm not sure exactly what it was. So overall, it just felt our planning was certainly give us a chance to be more successful.
Front left, Matt.
Did you guys take more chances downfield in the passing game just by matchup this week, or was that a concerted effort this week of trying to be a bit more aggressive in your pass game?
Well, there were some that were designed to go downfield. We probably called a few more, and some were open. Some that we tried last week, they got taken away. And you wish you could have had them, but you don't. And that's gone. But certainly felt that staying aggressive paid off tonight.
Back left, Bree.
What was your take on Justin Herbert's performance tonight, specifically his ability to calm down and really settle in?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think it's the next natural step in his progression. He has just grown into a tremendous leader and player. I think we all know that. I think he was outstanding. I do.
Let's go right here. Eric, second row.
Run down the stats here. You had 13 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, 4 turnovers forced.
Yeah.
Kind of assess this defense tonight and kind of what you've seen from Andy.
That's a trademark of the defense that Coach Avalos has brought here, and certainly the way it's being coached up by Coach Hayward, Coach Williams, Coach Salavea, and Coach Wilson. And to me, the most important part about that is that the players have taken ownership in it. If you watch the way that they walk through, the way they meet, the way they practice, it's very indicative of the progress that they're making and their buy-in and belief in the scheme. So it paid off tonight, and we still think we could get a whole lot better.
Back left.
Coach, with Sampson, you mentioned him earlier. He had a lot of plays against Auburn, and tonight he had a forced fumble and an interception. What can you say about his player development from last season to this season?
Well, Sampson is one of the more natural linebackers I've been around. The guy just has his instincts are off the charts, natural nose for the ball. And when he gets there with bad intentions. What we've noticed in camp, he also has very good hands. He has a great feel for the passing game, zone coverage, has played some man as well, and he just continues to elevate his game.
Tyson, here in the middle.
With just how much hype and dissection there was to last week's game, how much did it mean to this locker room just to have this under their belts and to have a win inside their home and just be able to kind of move on like that?
I'm not so sure that anything really affects the locker room in the way that we're building or rebuilding the program. I mean, everything that we do is from the inside out. Everything we do is making sure we do it the right way to the best of our ability. So to me, every opportunity is a beautiful situation and chance to get better. And our guys were just eager to get back on the football field and show that we could put together a complete game. And tonight we did.
Front left, James.
I understand that when guys come in as the game goes on, Mario, that you have to allow them to play and give their effort accordingly. But did anything play into your mind by way of the level of aggression and that showing dominance after a loss last week, that showing dominance could matter in the long run for this team beyond execution and doing those things, but being truly dominant in these games might matter in the long run?
They always do. They always do, because it gives you the opportunity to show that you could close things out and close them out strong. But also what played into us staying aggressive at the end is, this red shirt rule really allows you to do some things that you, from a development standpoint, wouldn't have a chance to do if you didn't have the 4-game option to play guys. And so when a guy does get in the game, we're going to play football. And the guys played a lot of snaps tonight and a lot of valuable time for them, which helps us in their development process. So overall, just again, pleased with the execution all the way down the stretch.
Two more. Matt, front left.
What do you think of just Lenore and Graham's play at corner? Seemed like both those guys were in run support, and they tried to throw on them. They weren't giving up anything.
Well, the way they're playing allows you to have more flexibility in your calls, because they can play man coverage, they could play zone, they could play as a rolled corner and get involved in the run game. They're really good as blitzers as well, guys that can bring pressure at the quarterback. And, there's flexibility with those guys too. Those guys are flexible enough and versatile enough to play nickel and even safety if we have to. They're that smart. So really proud of them. They continue to elevate their game.
Last one, Tyson, right here in the middle.
With Mase missing last year with an injury and the fact that he had to get back in shape and didn't get here until fall, were you guys expecting him to be this effective this quickly for you?
Without a doubt. We always felt Mase Funa was, if not the best, one of the best linebackers in the country. He's got a rugby background. You should see that guy run the ball. Pretty special. He's just a very physical player, and he's heavy-handed, he's light-footed, instinctive. You saw that. And, he's a lot bigger now than he was in high school. He's tipping 265 around that area right there. So he can set edges really well, and he could force things back. And at the same time, he could also get after the quarterback. He's a very natural pass rusher. So very pleased with his progress. I know he's super happy to be back on the field playing football with his brothers.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Bring the student athletes out here outside the elevator. Turn those off. Set it off. Yeah.